This is the 46 of 46 Podcast Summit Sessions, where we'll talk all things Adirondack, backcountry, and beyond. From high peak stories and adventures to trail tips and tricks, we'll dive deep into the heart of these mountains and the people who passionately climb them. Adirondack maps and spruce traps to bushwhacks and backpacks. It's all here on the 46 of 46 Summit Sessions. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 46 of 46 podcast. It is February now. Winter is in full swing here in the Adirondack Park. However, it's a not very snowy winter so far. It doesn't really seem like winter has really arrived. Granted, we have snow, but not to the levels that we're used to, especially at this time into the winter. But it's coming. I have no doubts that it's coming, and maybe it's going to be snowy all the way through May like it usually is, but you never know. But we are now in the month of February, so all things winter are happening here in the Adirondacks. I hope you've been able to get yourself up to the park, because it's a wonderful time of year. The mountains just look unbelievable when they're covered in snow, especially around sunset when you got that golden hour light lighting them up. Oh, it's just magnificent. But this week I'm going to be recording an episode solo, just once again, me here on the microphone, and I am recording from the new headquarters of 46 Outdoors Company, where I do my podcasting, where I do all of my stuff. All my stuff involving the Adirondacks and my various endeavors here, from, the podcast to my guiding company to the Lake Placid Niner. If you followed along on my personal social media page, back in July, we invested in starting to build and create a little outdoor headquarters for my various business endeavors. So on my property, we now have a shed that is completely finished, and this is my new world. It's my new headquarters. I call it the shed quarters because it's where I do all of my stuff, from my businesses to the podcast and everything else. So it's actually quite exciting being in here. It's not completely finished yet, but I am in. I got to do some, soundproofing type of stuff here in the shed, but it's completely finished. It's warm, it's heated, electric, all the things. So it's exciting. There's a lot of things that have been growing and building in my own world here. So it's exciting to be moved in and to be podcasting from this very room here at the shed quarters. But anyways, I have a lot of announcements and a lot of things to talk about that I've been working on and have been happening in the background for the last few months, and some for even like a year, quite honestly. So I figured, why not do an episode where I'm letting people know about all these happenings here. It has been an absolute privilege and honor to podcast and have people like yourself listen to this podcast, people who love the Adirondack Park as much as I do, and to be able to bring the Adirondacks to you. That's always been the goal of what I do here on the podcast. The goal, first and foremost, is to make the Adirondack Park the star of the show. It's not about me. It's not about my guest. It's about making the park the star of the show. I just happen to be the person bringing it to you. So over the years, that is what I always tell my guest when I talk to them about coming on the show. That's what I tell everyone who listens to it. I want the ADK to be the star. That's the focus. And I just happen to be delivering it. I'm like this guy off to the side delivering it to all of you, because I know what it's like to really want to be in a place, and I am blessed to be able to live here in the park. And I know how many people wish that they lived here, because this is their happy place. Because I get messages every week from people telling me how badly they wish that they could live up here, or they can't wait to get up here, or the Adirondacks is, it is their happy place. I like to call that the Adirondack effect, quite frankly. It's the Adirondack Park. I call it the Adirondack effect because it's just a place that makes you better. In fact, I have a whole post and social media post that I wrote recently which is part of another thing that I'm writing that I just shared. I decided to share with the world because I really feel it is. And I'm actually going to read that at the end of the episode. I'm going to read what I dub the Adirondack effect. But before we get into that, yeah, I just have a lot of stuff that's been happening that I've been working on and trying to build so that I can continue pushing this whole world, whatever this world is that I've been building over the last, almost 5 years. Wait, no, has it been more than 5 years? 2018, we're in 2024 now. Wow. Almost 6 years. Holy mackerel. It has been, come May or June, will be 6 years since I launched the Lake Placid Niner. Wow. What a realization. And, there's been thousands of finishers, and it's running the Niner is something where it's like, sometimes it's hard to keep up with it, especially in the summertime. I don't take any money from that. That's just like, it's just something I do for the love of the game, and wanting to help people get them outdoors, show them some different areas here around the Lake Placid region so that they can go outdoors, enjoy the mountains. And I'm a linear guy by nature, whether it's my training in the gym or just how my brain processes. So, I wanted to put together with the Niner something that would help someone become an adequate hiker before they go into the high peaks. And, that's why the Niner, the mountains on the list, especially listed on the website. If you hike one, then you hike the next one, then you hike the next one, and they just all build on each other. So, that's how I put the Niner together. But I just wanted to help usher people into the mountains because I've seen how transformative they've been for me. And I want other people to experience that same thing. So that's how I did the Niner. But man, I can't believe it's been almost 6 years. Thank you to everyone who hikes those mountains and sends me nice messages about how they had never heard of this mountain or that mountain, or they had such a great adventure. Or when I get a finisher registration, when they tell me that they also listen to the podcast, what a pleasure. What an absolute freaking honor it is for me, for strangers like yourself to give a damn about anything that I'm doing, from the podcast to the Niner, and to offer even a compliment. So I appreciate it so much. I do not take it for granted. I'm just another dude who's just, doing things and trying to bring the park to people who aren't here in the park. And the Niner is another way that I can help do that. Also, I'd like to send a quick shout out to my wife and the Blue Line Bakery business, and to all of you podcast listeners who have helped make the launch of her business over the last 4 months, maybe 5 months now. I don't remember when we launched it the week following Labor Day. We were trying to launch Labor Day weekend, but we just weren't quite ready. So September, October, November, December. Wow. 5 months ago. Holy mackerel. But the podcast listeners are without a doubt the majority of her customers, and they're coming from all over the place. They'll send her messages saying, "Hey, we're coming up this weekend. We're so excited to come get some cookies at the cookie lean-to." And people come and they're taking pictures with the lean-to. And God, dude, it's just such an amazing thing to see, again, people that I don't know, like all of you listening, who just want to come and support these Adirondack endeavors that myself and now my wife are involved in. And, the cookie lean-to, she does such an unbelievable job. And I don't say that because she's my wife. I say that because I've been eating her cookies and her baked treats for a very long time. Baking has always been her passion. She actually, she's a nurse, and she was going to, while she was in nursing school, back in college, there were times where she was going to drop out of college and nursing school to go to baking school, because that's really what her passion is. So to be able to see her in her element and the sparkle in her eyes as she talks to me about, here's what I have planning for next weekend. Here's the cookies, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And she just takes all these cookie ideas and she just puts such a tasteful twist, a very unique twist on your regular cookie. And it's just like, that's such a great idea. You know, like, for example, the Snickerdoodle cookie, the Santanoni Snickerdoodle. She throws cinnamon chips into the Santanoni Snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodles don't usually have chips. And then you throw that little cinnamon chip in it, and it's just a tasteful little tweak. Anyways, I'd like to thank all of you who have gone to the Blue Line Bakery, to come to the Cookie Lean-To, who have said hello to me when you see me, you know, in the driveway shoveling snow, or, you know, back in the spring shooting my bow in the front yard as you come to the Cookie Lean-To on the weekends when we're open. And you have really helped my wife shine, and it brings, like I said, a sparkle to her eyes running this business. And for me, it's a pleasure helping her run the business, which is another reason we have here at the shed quarters. You know, we can do all sorts of business endeavors right inside the shed quarters. But thank you to everyone who's come and purchased cookies. I appreciate it. If you haven't, check it out, bluelinebakeryadk.com, also on Instagram and Facebook. That's going well though. But yeah, so let me get into some more announcements, because man, I have been working in the background like crazy over the last few months, and I mean, nothing's ever really even done. You know, I'm the type of person by nature that I am a over analyzer. So that's a double-edged sword. An over analyzer helps you to make sure something works. You know, it helps you to overcome the BS of certain things, but also on the flip side, you can chisel something away until there's nothing left, because you analyze. So I have set a goal for myself in 2024. Yes, we're in 2024 now, that I need to just start sending it sometimes with some of the things that I do, whether it's in my, you know, here in the podcast, or it's in my other business that I run. I need to just start sending it and, you know, kind of fix it as we go, launch it, get it out there, and then continue to tweak as we go. I actually learned that in a book called Rework. Fantastic book. It's a super fast read if any of you own a business or you tend to get analysis paralysis like myself because you're such an overanalyzer. Highly recommend it. But with that in mind, because I made sending it, I made launching things and getting them out there the priority. I made that a non-negotiable. No more overanalyzing and chiseling things away. I need to get it out there. And even though it's not perfect, it's not, 100%. Like some of the things I'll talk about today, it's time to get it out, because I've been working on a lot of these things in the background for the last 6 months, some of the stuff. And it's a continued work in progress. This whole podcast, the whole 46 Outdoors thing that I do, it's always going to be evolving and growing, just like the podcast. All I used to do was the hiking episodes because I was always out on the trails, and my God, do those episodes take a very long time to make, because I got to go hike a mountain first, and then I got to write about it, and then I got to record, and then I have to edit and find the sound effects and record all the stuff. There's a lot involved in it. But over the years, it has evolved. There's the summit sessions, the campfire episodes, the pioneer episodes, which I'll be doing more of here in 2024. There's lots of stuff, but it's so awesome to just evolve and let it be what it is. I always tell people, podcasting is the Wild West. There are no rules here. You do whatever you want, and that's one thing I like about it. But moving forward, let me get into the things that I have been doing. A few different announcements. So you may have noticed me posting on my podcast Instagram page and whatnot, a new logo that I have. So there is the 46 Outdoors. Go to 46outdoors.com. That is my new website where everything is going to live. 46of46.com is my podcast website, but 46 Outdoors is my business website, where all of these things that I work on are going to be under, and they're all under the 46 Outdoors umbrella, which is my business. There's a new logo. I got a whole bunch of new swag up on the online store. The logo was designed by a podcast listener, shocker, named Teddy Reiser. Check him out, teddyreiser.com, if you need a logo or design work done. Shout out to you, Teddy. Teddy also did the Blue Line Bakery, logo, and the logo for Great Range Athlete, which I'll get into later. But what I'm planning to do with 46 Outdoors. So again, what I do, what my desire is, and where I fit into the world is I bring the Adirondacks to you. That is what my mission is. So some of the different things that I'm going to start offering all within this 46 Outdoors world. And I've been lining up different people to do different things, for this, but I'm going to start offering some in-person workshops and virtual workshops about all different outdoors stuff, educational in nature, because there's so many different things that people want to do. You want to learn about, you might want to learn to start rock climbing. You might want to learn to start fishing, all these different things that we can do in the outdoors here in the ADK. You need to learn to do them. Hiking's really easy. You just kind of go. You just get your shoes on, your boots on, grab a backpack, some water, and of course a sandwich, and you just send it. But there's a lot of other things that we want to do, and that's the beauty of the outdoors. It's like there's never-ending amount of things you can do. So within the 46 Outdoors platform, I'm going to start offering and setting up in-person workshops and then also virtual workshops online. So because again, I bring the ADK to you. So whether you're in the ADK and you can come in person to the workshops and to places that I've set up where, the workshops will be held, or just tuning in online on Zoom, they're going to be great things that we can do. And there's so many people around here that kind of have their niche, they have their expertise. So, I've spoken to many people. They're going to help me teach the class, help be here teaching the class. And then, we can all do this under the 46 Outdoors world. And I can get all of you guys to come in who want to learn about how to do this. You want to start paddling? Okay, great. Let's take do a paddling course, all these sorts of things, but educational in nature. That's something I'm going to start offering via 46 Outdoors. And when you go to the website, you'll see events, and that's where you'll be able to sign up to attend, either in person or virtual. But that's something that's coming this year under 46 Outdoors. And next, my guided hikes, again, also on 46outdoors.com. You'll see the guided hikes section. But I'm kind of switching up my guide service business model in a sense. Whereas right now, people email me, hey, I'm looking to go up a mountain on this day, are you available? Which is fine. You can still do that. But I'm also going to start offering some planned guided hikes. So that way it's easy. It's people are, I can bring more people. It's going to be more affordable for you. Then you can also you can come up the mountains and, have some camaraderie. I think hiking with other people is the best. I do so much solo hiking, as many of you know. But when you're with a group of people or just, other people, you kind of, you're doing hard things together. It forms camaraderie and it forms friendship. But anyways, I'm going to start offering guided hikes where you can go on the website, see where I'm going to go, what the day is, and you can just sign up. Super easy, super simple. You want to start winter hiking? Great. We're going to go up Cascade on this day. You see it on the guided hike section of the website. You just sign up right then and there. I'll get you all the information and we'll be off to the races. So if you're looking for some guided hikes, you're looking to start hiking, or you're looking to try winter hiking, any of the different things, I'm going to be offering that on the website. And that's going to also be expanding throughout the year to other categories of outdoor expeditions and outdoor stuff. So that's exciting. But again, 46outdoors.com, that's the new website. Check it out. I have been building that website for too long. I'll be honest with you. But a huge shout out to Mike from Outside Chronicles in Western New York. Mike has helped me so much put together this new website, because he is a guru in that world, and he has his own kind of stuff going over there in Western New York. Since probably half my listeners are in Western New York, I'm sure you're very familiar with him. Awesome dude. Shout out to you, Mike. Thank you so much for your help and your continued help as I expand my world here outside of the podcast. And this next thing is kind of what I'm most excited about, if I'm being honest. So for those of you who want more 46 of 46 in your life and more personal connection with the Adirondacks and to just connect with other ADK fanatics, I'm going to launch a new kind of interactive extension of the podcast in a way. It's going to be a subscription-based way, so it's going above and beyond, the free content that I offer with the podcast. But it's going to be for listeners who want to interact with me and each other and the podcast guests. And, I'm going to be calling it the Trailblazer Sessions. So think of it as like a live summit sessions where, my vision for 46, as I said, was always to bring the park to you wherever you live. And this is just kind of another step in that journey and evolving it even further. So basically what I'm going to be doing is creating kind of a virtual community and a space for just Adirondack lovers to come and hang out virtually with each other. Here's some Adirondack news, some more stories. We'll talk about hiking, camping, paddling, skiing, fishing, whatever you're doing in the 80K or whatever other people are doing in the 80K. And, some weeks it might just be me on the call. And then other weeks there might be other people to join me who are going to speak about a specific expertise. So that's why I said it's kind of like a Summit Sessions live where you actually are there with us hanging out in the Zoom room, which it will be done via Zoom. That's what this virtual hangout area is going to be. But then you'll get to also ask your questions and we'll just get to have a discussion because I might know more about this subject than you. You might know more about this subject than me, and we can just all talk. It's just a place for people who love the Adirondacks and need to be here to be able to have an hour or two a week where this is where I can feel like I'm in the Adirondacks because I'm tuned in and signed up and just in a place where I'm with other people from the 80K talking and conversing all about the 80K. Again, it's my way of trying to bring this park to you. The park that I live in, the park that I'm raising my family in. I want to bring it to you wherever you might live. So that's going to be something I'm going to be, setting up soon. And again, remember how earlier in the episode I said things aren't exactly done. I said, no, James, you got to start sending it. Send it and we'll fix it as we go and we'll put it together as we go. I know how badly people want to be here because they message me all the time telling me that. And this is just a way to continue doing that, to continue to offer that, and to bring a piece of the park to you. And this is going to be going to be like a subscription or even a pay-on-demand sort of virtual Adirondack hang session. So, I did a couple Instagram posts asking people, kind of if this is something they'd like to do. And there was an overwhelming amount of people who said, yes, I would love that. And then a lot of people who said I would tune in sometimes. So that's why, I'm just doing some market research in those questions to figure out what would be a good way of doing this. But I can tell there are a lot of 80K diehards out there that would very much love to have this community of people dedicated who love the Adirondacks, and they can kind of get together each week or whenever we have these Trailblazer sessions to just get together, talk about the 80K and interact with one another. Yeah, you got the Facebook groups, you got all these other things, but they're not very personal. I want personal. If it costs you a cup of coffee to have an hour or two where it feels like you can kind of transform here to the Adirondacks, let's let it happen. So anyways, the Trailblazer sessions, be on the lookout for that. And obviously I will make announcements when things like that are going to be happening. So far, 46 Outdoors, we've talked about the guided hikes that you can sign up on the website, virtual events and in-person kind of workshop events, trying to plan those out and getting the right people. And there's a lot of logistics involved with that, but that's something I'm going to be offering. And then the Trailblazer sessions is another thing that I'm going to start offering so that people who want more, you want more than just the podcast. You want more than just, what I offer here. And you want to actually connect with people in a fun, technological way here in 2024. The Trailblazer sessions will be exactly that. And then on those calls too, you'll be able to get your specific questions answered. And I'm going to be doing lots of stuff in that regard where, if you're about to hike the 46 high peaks, there might be times where I'm going to go through the map and, do some 46 hikes, 46 high peak maps and itineraries and that sort of thing, like all sorts of things. There's kind of an unlimited amount of things that we can do. But again, it's just for me to bring the 80K to you because most of you who listen do not live here in the Blue Line with me. You live outside and you want to be in the Blue Line. So that's how I can bring it to you. Speaking of not being in the Blue Line, up next in the announcements episode here at the 4646 podcast, Great Range Athlete. What is it? Well, let me tell you. last year, I put out an episode called High Peaks Shape, where it was all about how to get in shape to climb mountains when you don't have mountains around you to climb, to get into shape for it. And this episode was just kind of something I just did. I thought, oh, this would be a fun episode to do, and I think this would be beneficial. And it was an overwhelming success. I got so many messages from people and so much feedback from that episode that it was welcomed, and people asking questions. Okay, what if I can't do this, or how do I switch to that? It's like, I want to get in shape to hike mountains. And for those of you who don't know, I also have a one-on-one coaching business that I run. It's called Seek to Do More, and I have a lot of clients in that world who are podcast listeners who funneled into that business from this podcast. That's how they know me. But so many of them came to me because they want to get in better shape physically and mentally to hike mountains so that they can have a better mountain experience. They want to climb mountains with confidence. They want to be out there and having a good time, not worrying about the physical aspect of it. So all those things combined made me decide, okay, I'm going to start putting out some workout programs. Yes, that is what Great Range Athlete is. They're workout programs. And there's also swag. Don't worry, everyone likes swag and t-shirts, but Great Range Athlete is basically, it's a collective of people who go into the mountains to challenge themselves and to, challenge themselves physically and mentally, and just do that in the embrace of the mountains. So, you always hear me on the end of summit sessions ask people, why do you hike, or why do you do whatever outdoors thing you do that I'm talking to them about? And for me, my answer is I like to move and sweat in the mountains. That's why I go out there. It's an amazing way to just be in the outdoors, but also doing what I like to do, which is to push and to sweat and to, breathe heavily. That's just like the best place to do that. I don't go out into the outdoors to find my inner tree. Some people do, and that's great. Whatever you go out there for, great. Keep on doing it. I personally go out there to challenge myself and to sweat and to do it in the mountains, because what a great place to do it. You get the views, the smells, the looks, the feel. Just being in the outdoors in general is always great. So that's why I personally go out there, and I know there's a lot of people who do the same. So with Great Range Athlete, it's I have workout programs that are designed and specifically created to get you in shape for climbing mountains. Yes, you can get in just general shape and things are good, but these are programs that are made to train your body in the right way and, strengthen the right muscles, strengthen the right things to mimic the same cardiovascular work that you're going to experience in the mountains, so that when you come to the mountains, you are absolutely unstoppable in those mountains. You're not going to get back to the trailhead. If you only hike a couple times a year, you get back to the trailhead and you're just dead, or you're dead for the next few days. Like, that's what I don't want. I want you to be coming back to the trailhead saying like, oh, I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm ready to go again. So that's what these are. They're workout programs, and they're all available on 46 Outdoors website. Just click Explore and click Great Range Athlete, and you'll see what I've put together. And there are more programs coming. Right now, I have two of them up. The third will be up in the next day or two, and then another one is currently in the works as well. So right now, there will be 4 different workout programs. There's what's called the Marcy program, which is kind of the flagship program of Great Range Athlete. That's designed for people who go to a commercial gym and have access to all the stuff at gyms. And then there is a body weight and backpack program called the Cascade program. That is designed for people who want to train from home. All you need to do that program is just use your body weight and have your hiking backpack. That's it. No other equipment necessary. There's also the 21-day intensive program known as the Dismal Wilderness program. Yes, because I was either going to call that program the Blake or the Cooksacraga, because it is a fast, down and dirty, rugged program designed to quickly get you ready for your hiking, your upcoming hiking trip, to get you mountain ready in 21 days. And it's 21 straight days of training. very strategically put together, but it's 21 straight days to get you ready to climb mountains. So, it's down and dirty, just like Blake and Cuxicraga. And Cuxicraga, kind of loosely translates to dismal wilderness. So it just made sense. So that's another program. And then the other program that I'm currently writing and working on right now is called the Gothics Hybrid Program. So the Gothics Hybrid Program is it's kind of it's a hybrid program. So in that one, you're going to be doing some strength training. You're going to be doing some body weight circuits. You're going to be doing some running and some rucking. Again, I hate the word rucking, but for lack of a better word, we know what that means. So these are all things that are designed, as I said, strategically to get you ready to hike mountains. Training for, if you're training for losing weight, or you're training for a powerlifting meet, or you're training for a CrossFit event. These are all very specific ways to exercise. And yes, they all can kind of translate to hiking mountains or translate to each other. They can, you could train for CrossFit and also be losing weight. You could be losing weight and also train for CrossFit or a powerlifting meet. You could do all these things. But these programs, I designed them specifically to mimic and to strengthen what we need stronger to hike mountains: your legs, your back, your core, to your heart, obviously, for starters, your shoulders, all these different things that are specifically to mimic what we do on the trail. When you're on the trail, you're not sprinting. There's going to be times where, you're huffing and puffing. It's like, I always tell people, hiking is kind of like the perfect mix between steady state cardio and high intensity interval training, because you have these climbs that are like, and then you have a lot of in between where you're kind of slow and steadily, breathing. And so those are the types of things that I have created in the programs to mimic that, to train that, to improve and strengthen that. And I developed these programs with Josh. I've heard his name on the podcast many times, especially in the earlier 46 episodes. We put these together and we train this way in our own gym, in my own gym here at my house. And, we call them grind circuits because it's a certain type of way that you train to mimic that trail kind of stuff. So anyways, the programs are cool. They're fun. I've put a ton of work into them to making sure they're just right and that they will absolutely get anybody in shape to hike mountains. That's what it's for. And yes, obviously all of you people who want to drop some pounds and look better, any sort of work will help you do that. All that matters there is consistency and having a plan, and pretty much anything will get you to that. But these are strategically put together programs to get you in mountain shape from a gym wherever you live. The best way to hike mountains is to just go hike mountains. But again, most of you who are my listeners of the podcast don't live with mountains, surrounding you every couple miles. You're not passing a different trailhead that you can go hike mountains from. So once again, my way to bring the Adirondacks to you, that is Great Range Athlete. And it's for all of you who want to get in shape to hike mountains, or all of you who like to push yourselves in the mountains and to, see what you're made of physically, build some grit, and just enjoy that, heavy breathing in the mountains. Great Range Athlete. On the website, 46 Outdoors, check it out. There's t-shirts and hoodies and all those sorts of things as well available at the online store on 46outdoors.com. You will see it. You can't miss it. And again, a shout out to Teddy Reiser, my design guy, for putting together that logo. I'm pretty proud of that, and what it stands for and what it represents. Great Range Athlete. That's what it is. I put up a post recently about asking people what they think it is, and I had all sorts of answers. A couple, and I think only like 2 or 3 people guessed what it is. But there you go. Now you have it. All right, I have one more announcement to make. And this is arguably the biggest announcement of all of the announcements on the website or on the podcast episode, and one that's exciting. Here it is. Drum roll, please. Da-da-da. I wrote another book. There it is. It is called Adirondack Campfire Stories: Tales and Folklore from Inside the Blue Line, and it is now available for pre-order on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and IndieBound. Now, IndieBound supplies indie bookstores. Yes, I wrote another book, and I was approached by a publishing company probably like a year and a half ago about putting out some books about the Adirondacks and, just kind of doing my thing. So the person who approached me works for a publishing company and he listens to this podcast. So shout out to you, Jake. And thanks for believing in me. And, I had written the ebook, which has sold over 700 copies, which is exciting. So like people like that. And it's writing is just something I never had any sort of plan to do. I just started writing when I started doing this podcast. That was it. And then it has just very organically evolved. And now what an honor to, have a book published by a publishing company and available anywhere in the world. And it's the Adirondack Campfire Stories. I thought that was the best first book to put out because it is so true to form to me and to what I've done with this podcast. So if you like those campfire stories episodes, this book is right there for you. I have included all of the episodes, or all of the stories, I should say. They've all been kind of reworked a little bit, since when I wrote them originally, they were for me to perform for you here on the podcast. So I have reworked all of them so that they are easier to read in a literary fashion. But they'll all be included in the book. And then there's, I don't know how many other new ones. There's a lot. I've written a lot of new campfire stories. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll go to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, IndieBound, and pre-order the book. If you like this podcast, if you like the campfire stories, if you want to support what I've done, and I hope that I've brought you enough education and entertainment over the last 4 or 5 years that you would support this endeavor. And the more pre-order sales, the better it looks for people. I would be so grateful. Again, it's on Amazon. The book's called Adirondack Campfire Stories, Tales and Folklore from Inside the Blue Line by James Appleton. You can find it on Amazon. I'm sure you all have the Amazon Prime app on the phone you're listening to this very podcast on. But if you would pre-order that and you would deem it worthy of your hard-earned cash, man, I would be so appreciative. What an exciting adventure this whole world of 46 of 46 podcast has created for my life. Again, this has become part of my life, literally part of my everyday life, this podcast. And originally it was just like, I'm going to make this like little podcast and put it out and then continue on with my life. And now here it is. It's insane to see what it has grown to, just because people like what I've done and people like the ADK and they want to experience it. So anyways, the book is my biggest announcement. It is now available for pre-order. Again, it's called Adirondack Campfire Stories, Tales and Folklore from Inside the Blue Line. In that book also is The Nye Wolf Returns. So that might be one of my favorite stories in there. There's lots of new stories, and there's like the big regular campfire stories, like you've heard on the podcast. And then I've written some other littler, smaller stories that are, fun too, or actual folklore from around the Adirondacks, not stories that I've made up in my head, but real folklore. So it's cool. It's fun. It's spooky. It's fun and playful though, but that's what it's for. And I also, with that, I have a March 1st deadline for my follow-up, my next book. And no, the next book is not necessarily the same book, but it is just my next book. So I'm continuing to write, continuing to push this sort of thing. And as I put this episode out, I have a few more weeks to get the next book finished. So it's exciting. But check it out, Amazon, Adirondack Campfire Stories. Please pre-order. If you do, I'd be forever grateful. Thank you so much. And again, one thing I should say, you'll notice when you get the book is dedicated, and I'll spoilers right now. The book is dedicated to the listeners of the 46 of 46 podcast, because without you guys, I have not done this. I have not, started writing, and I would never have been in this sort of place in my life without the listeners of this podcast. So that book is dedicated to every single one of you who have ever listened to an episode of this podcast, especially those who've been with me from the start or who listen week after week. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so very much. I'm forever grateful that you deem what I do worthy of your time, worthy of your money. And I appreciate the kind words that you volunteer to me, because you don't need to tell someone when you like what they do. So when you do give me a compliment or you send me a nice message, I genuinely appreciate it so much. But that's it. Those are the things that I've been working on for the last, year, I guess we'll call it, all the things around. We've got 46 Outdoors, which is the umbrella that all of this is operating under, and I'm just expanding what I'm going to do with that on 46 Outdoors. There's Great Range Athlete. You want to get in shape to hike the mountains, check it out. There's the Adirondack Campfire Stories book coming out. I also want to thank all of you who have come to the Blue Line Bakery, my little cookie lean-to business with my wife. It's awesome. She does a great job, and that's her business. I just kind of help facilitate things and help do things. And she allowed me the privilege of creating the aesthetic for the stand with the cookies in a lean-to and having that whole Adirondack vibe. The cookies are all named after different Adirondack places, from mountains to towns to rivers, and they just have the Adirondack theme because that's what we do. That's what we do. Anyways, all right, so I'm going to wrap up this episode right there. This is the 46 of 46 podcast 2024 updates episode, you can call it. But anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in week after week. And I know I don't have episodes up every week, but you're always checking, so I appreciate that so much. Thanks for being here. And, the ship moves. We continue moving forward. Let's keep this ship moving forward. And thank you all for being here with me and, giving a crap about what I do. I appreciate it so much. But that's going to wrap up this episode here at Shed Quarters, the new home of the 46 of 46 podcast. Check out 46outdoors.com. Pre-order the new book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or IndieBound. Links in the show notes. And see you next time. That'll do it. See you on the trails, everyone. Remember to always leave no trace. Do the rock walk, and if you carry it in, carry it out. See you on the trails.